Good morning, student. This is Aisha teacher from St. Thomas Bethany Convent School, and today we are going to learn the new lesson, that is the last leaf. This lesson is written by O. Henry, and this is a story that revolves around two young women, Sue and Johansi, who were the struggling artists and they were living together. Johansi became ill due to pneumonia, and the doctor predict that she may not survive for long unless she has the will to live. Johansi is obsessed with the falling leaves of an ivy tree and she thinks she is going to die after the last leaf falls. Sue takes the help of another artist, that is Berman, who paints an ivy leaf outside her window, and Sue survives, but Berman dies as if he has struck by pneumonia. So this is a motivational and we can say that it is story that revolves around Sue and Johansi. Now we will go to the exact story, the last leaf. So, in the poorer parts of New York, there was a colony where many struggling artists lived. Among them were Sue and Johansi. Okay, so in New York, there are very poorer parts, and in that colony, so many struggling artists are living. And there only Sue and Johansi also living together. They had come to New York from different parts of United States. When they met, they found that they shared the same interest and they became friends. And they shared a flat and set up a joint studio trying to earn a living through arts. Okay, so first they were unknown, but after some time they met each other and they became friends. Why they became friends? Because they are having a same interest of like an artist, and so that they took one flat on rent and they have set up their studio over there and they trying to earn some money through art. After that, Johansi was small, thin, not very strong. After spending a few months in New York, she became ill with pneumonia. In those days, it was not easy to cure pneumonia patients. Though Sue looked after her well, Johansi showed no sign of improvement. And so Sue was taking care of her, and but in spite of taking this much care, she is not showing any improvement of curing from pneumonia. One day, the doctor told Sue that Johansi had one chance in 10, and that chance is for her to want to leave. And he said, "Your little lady has made up her mind that she is going to not going to get well." And he told that medicine alone did not help if the patient did not wish to live. And one day doctor came to visit and said that she could be well, but she have made up her mind that she is not going to be well. And once you have made up your mind, you cannot, anybody can cure your diseases. So that doctor said that medicine only can't help, but she have to make her mind that she want to live. After that day, Johansi just lie in bed without making any sound or movement. First, Sue thought that she had fallen asleep, but then she noticed that Johansi was looking out of the window and counting something again and again in a very low voice, almost a whisper. So one day, Johansi was lie down on her bed, and Sue noticed that she was muttering something in her mouth, and she's talking something and she's counting something. She thought that Johansi was asleep, but afterwards he realized that she is counting something in a low voice. Sue too looked out of the window, but there was nothing to see, Only an old ivy vine, Gernard means twisted. Ivy vine means a strong creeper with a green leaves and a yellow barriers. And decayed at the root, climbed halfway up the brick wall. The cold breath of autumn had taken away most of the leaves. Only the skeleton branches were left, clinging to the bricks. Okay, so what she was looking? She was looking one ivy tree which is almost collapsed, and it maybe the root also decayed, and half of the bricks walls it was coming out, and the cold breath of autumn had taken all the leaves. Only the skeleton is remain, and very few leaves are left with it. What is it, dear? Asks you. Sue asked to Johansi, what is it? 6, said Johansi. They are falling faster now. 3 days ago, there were almost 100. What she said to Johansi, what Johansi said to Sue, there are 6, means only 6 leaves are remaining. And because of the winter, they are falling very fast. Before 3 days, there were 100 almost, but now there are only 6. What it means? Sue asked to Johansi. It made my head ache. It made my head ache to count them, but now it is easy. There goes another one. There are only 5 left now. What Johansi said to Sue, that almost before 3 days there are more than 100 leaves, and it will be headache to count. But now it is very easy because now only 5s are remaining over there. 5 were dear leaves on the ivy vine. What she asked, Sue didn't realize what she's talking about. And after that, Johansi told that leaves on a ivy vine. When the last one falls, I must go too. I have known that for 3 days. Didn't the doctor tell you? What she made her mind? That only 3 days she could believe, and because after 3 days on the ivy vine tree also will be only the skeleton and no leaves will be there. And when the last leaf will be fall, then I will also die. Like that, Johansi told to Sue. And maybe doctor also told you like that Johansi told. Oh, I never heard of such a nonsense, said Sue. What Sue replied, because all these things are nonsense. Because of a ivy leaves fallen down, you cannot die like that, Sue said. What have old ivy leaves to do with your getting well? And you used to love that ivy vine so? Don't be silly. The doctor said that you have excellent chance to getting well. Take some broth now. Broth means a hot soup. And let me get back to my work. What Sue said that? Doctor doesn't say that you don't have chances to live. But instead of that, doctor said that Johansi has an excellent chance to getting well. And she don't be want to silly because of the ivy leaves are falling down, and there is no connection between the ivy leaves and Johansi's health, like that Sue explained to her. And after that she said to her that please take some hot soup, and so that she can go back to her work. Like that the conversation between Sue and Johansi. But Johansi just kept looking out of the window. But there is no, what we can say, no effect of Sue's talking on Johansi, and she just kept looking out of the window. There goes another. No, I don't want any broth. And afterwards, in that time only, one leaves fallen again. And she said that now I don't want to take any soup. That leave just 4. I want to see the last one fall before it gets dark. And then I will go too. What she said that before it gets dark, I want to see the last leaf want to fall, and in that with that last leaf, she will also die. Like that, she said to Sue. Then Johansi said, Sue, will you promise me to keep your eyes closed and not look out of the window until I am done working? Then Sue said to Johansi that if when I am come back, till that you have to keep your eyes closed and you are not going to see the window again. I must hand those drawing in tomorrow. I need the light. Otherwise, I would have closed the window. I don't want you to keep looking at those silly ivy leaves. What Sue said to Johansi that I just want to complete my drawing. Otherwise, I would have to close the window, and because of that, some light he she need, and so that she is keeping the window open. Otherwise, she could have closed the window, and now she have to close her eyes before Sue could complete the work. Tell me as soon as you have finished, said Johansi. Johansi said to Sue that, tell me when you finish your work, and closing her eyes, because I want to see the last one fall. What she want to see? She just want to see that last ivy leaves fall. Then try to sleep, said Sue. Sue what said? Try to sleep. I must call Verman up to be my model for the old man and that I am drawing. I will not be gone a minute. Okay, so what she said that I want to call a Burman, that is a next artist who is living in her same building, and she will come back. Old Burman was a painter who lived on a ground floor, but he was a failure in art. For 40 years he had welded the brush but had not made any money. Welded a brush means painted with a flourish drawing, and he is having command on that. And he is a painter who is living on the ground floor, but he is a failure of art. He is a 40 years old, okay, 40 years experience of the painting, but he could not made any money. He had been always about to paint a masterpiece. He want to paint a masterpiece. Masterpiece is the most valuable or outstanding work of art, but had never yet begun it. But he could not do it till now. For several years, he had only made a few paintings, and from these several years, he had made some paintings. He earned a little by serving as a model to the young artists in the colony who could not afford other models. He always talked of his coming masterpiece, and so that he is always talking about his coming masterpiece. Sue told Wyman about Johannes' fancy. Fancy means imagination. Then old Wyman was shocked that anyone could have such idiotic imagination. Idiotic means silly imagination about the ivy leaves, and when the last leaf will fall down, even the person also dry. What? He cried. He cried means he just shouted. What is it the imagination? Then are there people in the world foolish enough to die because of the leaves dropping off? And he talked with Sue that the this much peoples are foolish when the ivy leaves dropping off and the peoples also die. This much foolish peoples are living in the world like this. He asked to Sue from a vine. I have not heard of such a thing. And he said that even he don't heard such a thing. Why did you allow this thought to enter her brain? And what he Burman said to Sue that how could you allow this thought to enter in her brain? Because of ivy leaves fallen, she will also die. She is very ill and weak, said Sue. What she said, Sue? She is very ill and weak. The fever has made her mind full of fancies, and because of the fever, she made her mind. This place is not good for Miss Johansi. Some day I will paint a masterpiece and we shall All go away. Yes, said Bahman. What Bahman said that I will paint a masterpiece and we will together go away from this place. Johansi was sleeping when two went upstairs. Sue showed a barman the ivy vine that Johansi saw through the window, and they looked at each other for a moment without speaking and began their work. Outside, a cold rain was falling continuously that mingled with snow. Sue closed the window. Mingle means mixed. Then, when Johansi is sleeping, both of them come upstairs and they look outside the window. And that from through that window, that ivy vine, the ivy tree is looking, and they looked each other for a moment without speaking, and they started the work. In that time, very cold rain was falling continuously and the snow also. So, and because of that, Sue closed the window. Next morning, when Sue woke up, she found that the Johansi was staring at the closed window again with the dull, wide open eyes. And what Sue said, Sue was closed the window and Johansi is staring out the closed window and she is looking very dull. Open the window, I want to see, she ordered, and Sue obeyed. What Johansi said that please open means ordered. Exactly, she ordered to open the window and Sue also obeyed and opened the window. But lo, even after the rain and the furious wind that blew throughout the night, there yet stood against the brick wall one ivy leaf. What was the uh, what happened that day? Too much rain and too much snow falling, but then also that one ivy leaves still stick and stood on the tree. It was the last leaf of the vine, and it was the last leaf, still dark green near its stem, but with its edges tinted with yellow. Tinted means slightly color, and edges are slightly yellow. It hung bravely from the branch some 20 feet above the ground, and it is 20 feet above the ground, and on that branch it is stuck over there. It is the last one, said Johansi. Johansi said that this is the last leaf. I thought it would surely fall during the night. I heard the wind. It will fall today, and I shall die at the same time. What she said again? She said again the rubbish thing that the ivy leaves also fall down today because of the wind, and with the that leaves I will also that she will also die. Johansi was preparing herself for the last journey that one makes alone. The feeling was very strong within her, and dying feeling within her that she would be die, that feeling is very strong in her mind. And she is preparing, she have prepared, almost prepared her mind that she could be died. The ties of Sue's friendship and other things on earth became loose one by one, and the bonding with the Sue's friendship and other things is losing, and that feeling of dying in her mind is very strong. The day wore away, but even through the twilight they could see the lone leaf clinging to its stem against the wall. Then, after twilight means after the sunset, also the leaves it's still stuck on the branch, the wall. At night, again the wind racked and the rain poured. And that night also again same thing happened. Too much cold rain and the snow and the wind. And next day, when it was light enough, Johansi asked Sue to open the window, and the ivy leaf was still there. And what happened? Instead of this much strong window and rain and snowfall, the ivy leaves it's still on the branch after opening the window. Johansi lay for a long time looking at it. Then she called Sue. Sue, dear, she said, I have been a bad girl. Something has made a last leaf stay there to show me how wicked I was. it is a sin to want to die. And after that, she realized that she could be a bad girl and she have made her mind of dying. And it is a sin to want to die, and it is a sin that somebody want to become her life and she want to die, and it is a sin, she said to Sue. After that, she was ready to take broth and milk, and after that she have took the broth means soup and the milk also that Sue brought her. She wanted to sit up in a bed, and she want to sit on a bed. Someday I hope to paint the Bay of Nepal. And after that she talked that she want to paint on the Bay of Nepal. Mr. Bayman downstairs was now ill with a pneumonia. And what happened? Because of the painting on the cold rain and all these things, Mr. Bayman was ill with the pneumonia. The sweeper had found him lying helpless in his room in very wet clothes and shoe. And the sweeper, those who come to cleaning her house, cleaning the Bayman's house, she found that he was lying over helpless and his cloth very wet. He also found some scattered brushes and palette with a green and yellow colors mixed on it. And she found one palette with the green and yellow colors with him. 2 days later, Mr. Bayman died in a hospital. And after that 2 days, Mr. Bayman died in a hospital. The last ivy leaf was still there on the wall. It's never fluttered or moved when the window blew. Flutter means it regular shaking. It was Bayman's masterpiece. He had painted it there that night when the last leaf had fallen. Means in that day, that last leaf have already fallen when they opened the window. But Mr. Bowman have painted that leaves on that branch, and it was his masterpiece. And after that masterpiece, he have died in a hospital. So, what was the moral of the story? So you cannot depend on somebody for your lives. Okay, so that is the moral of the story. And if we summarize the story, Sue and Johansi were the two young women who were struggling artists living together in a studio in a flat. Johansi became ill with an attack of a pneumonia, and the doctor predict that she will live only if she has the will to live. Johansi becomes obsessed with the falling leaves of an ivy tree and relates her span of life to them. She feels that each time a leaf falls, her life was becoming shorter, so much so that her life will run out the day the last leaf of the tree falls. One day, Johansen meets Berman, who stayed on the ground floor and who is a great failure in his art. A painter who was still living to paint his masterpiece. So tells him to Johansen's imagination, and Berman is really surprised to hear that. So, no one stormy and rainy night, Berman paints a leaf on the wall outside Johansen's window. Seeing this, the next day Johansen is filled with the will to live. She survives. Sadly, since Berman paints the leaves, braving the rain and the storm, he falls sick with pneumonia and dies. Johansen, however, feels that Berman had finally drawn his masterpiece. But, my dear students, you don't be depend on anything for your life. You have to be something in your life and have a great imagination of living your life with a success and a great imagination of something to be create like a masterpiece. I hope you have understood this lesson. If you have any doubt, you can ask me while a conversation on WhatsApp. Thank you very much. Stay home, stay safe, and live your life with health and prosperity. Thank you, students. Thank you very much.